hotel. But,
Yes.
so why are you still living in a tent?
Why not? Because I don't have a hotel yet. And I'm trying to get that worked out so I can get my house truck down to the parking lot and live in my house truck. Because I don't live in I live in house truck, dude. I live in tinies and shit. I travel a lot.
I might have a hacksaw, but I'd have to dig it out of this thing.
Yeah.
I do know a little bit about surfboards. A little bit. I know more about fiberglass than I do about surfboards.
Well, I'm going to need, yeah, because I have jet skis I need to get fixed. So.
Where do you keep them? There's none in your tent.
No, I know. One's over at my boss's, one's over at a buddy of mine's. They're not mine yet, but I'm working out deals to where I'm going to fix them up and have them in the water, use them, and the owners are going to be able to have them at my dock and have them ready to go whenever they want. And I'm going to use them for rentals and give them a percentage.
So how exactly do you own the bridge? Do you have like a title for it?
I don't know how to explain all that, because I don't deal with that. My friends do. I have people that deal with it.
All right.
My hackers are better than theirs. That's all you have to know. All right. Thanks, dude.
Yep. Alright, sometimes when I start recording, I don't get to record until we're already a couple of minutes into it. And this time I didn't press the done button after it took a picture of me. So it didn't start recording until even later than that. But he's been talking to me for a couple of minutes. He's legit a firefighter. That's the funny thing. But he's, oh my God, like delusional as all hell. Anyway, he's got a couple of spots that on me that are pretty alright, but too close to town and too dirty. And by dirty, I mean dirt, actual dirt. Instead of digging a nice little hobbit hole that nobody is even going to know is there, they wanted to level out a whole bunch of land over on the east end of town, or the west end of town. That's a lot of motivation. I mean, they did a lot of work. There's a lot of level ground there that they leveled by hand, but oh my God, it looks like shit. Nobody's actually staying there. They're staying in various camps around it. And we got the camp here in town, and then we got the fact that there's a time limit on all this stuff, folks. I'm stuck out here with a lot of crazy folk. These are the people that I go to for help, and I know they're nuttier than squirrel turds. I also know how to get useful information out of them. Obviously, him owning a bridge and buying the hotel and all that stuff, obviously that's not realistic. He's told me a few different stories. The other day when we went for a walk, he showed me some areas they've been working on. Oh my God. That's sad. Now we got a bunch of people in Portland doing the same thing they're doing in the cities everywhere. They're complaining about the homeless crimes. You know what? You force these people into desperation and they're doing desperate things to survive. What the fuck did you expect was going to happen? With an increase of poverty comes an increase in crime. Now, when we're talking about oil execs getting record profits every year, and you guys want to blame the president for the gas prices. It's the president's fault that the gas costs what it does. The president is supposed to make special deals for the American public on behalf of the American public for that petroleum stuff, right? Like, that's supposed to be the president's sole job. Well, haven't we fought enough wars over that shit already? But I'm not dealing with that. I'm dealing with crazy people. I'm dealing with people who, that guy who was just here, he thought he was from the future. He thought we were both from the future. He kept talking about people that I don't know. Telling me about a past he and I had that doesn't exist. And of course, at that point, he didn't start talking all that real super crazy stuff until we were down by the railroad tracks. And I'm like, shit, this could turn into a bad situation. But I could tell he didn't have any animosity or hatred. He was just trying to show me some spots. And he did. We did a lot more marching than I should have. And I shouldn't be walking. I should be laying down in bed taking a rest. I fucking can't handle this shit. Anyway, I got a sign here. I'm gonna go hold it out there. Hopefully I'll get enough bucks to get something to eat. See what today's date is. It's 11/11. Go ahead and make a wish, those of you who are superstitious. July 15th. So I'm out of money, of course. I got 30 more days. I gotta try to survive and put gas in my vehicle and keep it moving and keep my stuff charged. And people just don't understand. They don't understand because they've never been there. My dad's never had to be homeless. My mom's never had to be homeless. My mom always had her dad to mooch off of. Well, I'm a mean sumbitch, ain't I? I tell the truth. Oh no, Sean Schwartz is a horrible, evil monster. He tells the truth. People get angry when I show the truth, too. I don't have the ability to take the stuff off my clandestine recording device. It's been there for probably over a month now. I gotta be able to take it off there and put it on my computer, and there's a couple of times I've gone to do that, but life happens. Like, yeah, I rented a room at the library, or not rented it, I scheduled it. But then I couldn't pay for the parking. So I wasn't able to do what I needed to get done. Most of my predators didn't have to move a whole bunch and spend all that money. And all these people who say it's not my fault, no, it absolutely is. Especially those who were involved in the situation before Natalie was killed. Well, my dad's gross peanut butter. I love peanut butter, but it's gross. This one is. It says it's not bad till 2023. That's next year. Anyway, the cops here, just like anywhere else, if you're homeless, they're going to ignore you. The only way that you can combat that is to have someone go in with you. That's it. Nothing else is going to work. You need someone to go in with you, and you need to record it. If you don't have the money for a real lawyer, you're fucked. Unless you can get people to go in with you to turn in your predators. And if they don't care, well, they don't have a vested interest in your safety or your health. They don't care at all. If you can get somebody to go in with you who's gonna look at the evidence and fucking back your story up, that's what you need. But as a male, you're not gonna get that. Especially if you're homeless. especially if they want to call you mentally ill and use that as an excuse to abuse the fuck out of you. The things that Marcia Estrada diagnosed me with, I'd already been diagnosed with. She states loud and clear that I'm not psychotic, I'm not delusional, and I'm not schizophrenic. That guy who was just here, definitely delusional, definitely a good possibility of being schizophrenic. There's a possibility it might be drug use. There's another guy in town who's been diagnosed with schizophrenic. He's only shown schizophrenic traits twice. Both of them were times that people gave him drugs that he didn't want. So he didn't put the drugs in his system. When you don't knowingly put drugs into your system, when you are what's called ninja dosed, yeah, you're fucking tripping on acid, or you're tripping on mushrooms, and somebody neglected to tell you. That's how Angus got stabbed to death. His best friend, Spencer Crawford, stabbed him right in the heart. I knew both of them. I tried to run them off, get them to stop hanging out with them druggies. Those of us on the streets, we know who the bad news is. We're the ones keeping an eye on them. We're the ones keeping you safe from them. We're also the ones taking care of them, making sure that they get food, making sure that their needs are at least somewhat met. And yeah, sometimes it's a pain to listen to somebody who's schizophrenic for 45 minutes. But they need it. They need it too. The guy who's just here, he legit fights fires. The other guy who was called schizophrenic, he fights fires too. He fixed my car. But people telling him that he's schizophrenic over an acid trip, no, he was tripping on acid, and he didn't perma-trip. He came down from it. I asked him if he has any residual effects, like if he still sees things or, hears things or anything like that. He said, no, only while I was tripping. I said, well, you have to have that for 6 months. Did you have that going on for 6 months? No, you didn't. You absolutely did not. This country is a nasty place. It's a nasty place because you support it. You complain about all of the horrible things that have been done to you, but you don't do anything about it. You're all afraid. You don't want to do anything unless someone's going to help you. For us, when it gets bad enough that we have to go in by ourselves, we already know we're not going to get hurt because we're having to go in by ourselves. It's not that we didn't try to get help, it's that you didn't fucking care. And that's a long cry from what it is that the cops said. When you guys were pretending that you were going to help me, when you were pretending that you were going to do those things, but I was being treated like I'm that guy there who thinks he owns the bridge here, and he thinks he's buying the motel, and he lives in a tent. He was asking me about bolt cutters and a fucking hacksaw today. Like, That don't sound to me like he's gonna buy something. Does that sound to you guys like he's gonna buy something? No sense going to the police about anything. They're not gonna listen to just me, and that's what it is just me. Out of the thousands of crimes that have been committed, getting anybody to help me at all with just one is a pain in the ass. Without civilian oversight, none of these government people are going to do their jobs. I tell these people outright, I can't defend myself. I can't take care of myself. I cannot do these things, and I am being victimized. I need help stopping the victimization. And then, of course, they want to interrupt me, so I don't get to tell them about any of the specifics of any of the abuse. When I am able to push it in there, they want to tell me, oh, that's not my job, that's not my job. Actually, most of these people, it literally is their job. It is Terry's job as a mandated reporter in Nebraska to turn these things in. If she doesn't, it could lead to someone committing suicide, as in the case there in Broken Bow, where she's a school nurse. She says she could lose her job for telling the truth, for doing the right thing as a mandated reporter. She also admitted that back when I was in high school, there was a rumor that I was schizophrenic. I've never been diagnosed as schizophrenic. My mom started that rumor because she wanted to, instead of getting my money back from my boss, Doug Cowden, mind you, I was only 16 at the time. And my mom, instead of getting my money back from Doug Cowden, he was staying in a camper on her property. She went out, did the cocaine that he bought with my money. That's right. It was supposed to be a vehicle and a guitar. What it ended up being was a pound of marijuana that went to Brenda and Dennis Dickinson. And, of course, cocaine that he did with my older brother, Eric Schwartz, and my mother. And no, I don't think Eric had sex with him, but my mom did. That's when I ended up at Pine Ridge Job Corps Center. How did I find out that pound of weed that Doug Cowden bought, who, by the way, he died in prison. He was a sicko chimo. Don't be a pedophile. Moral of the story. But he ripped me off for a lot of money. And, of course, my mom, cocaine was more important to her at that point in time than her own son. And it's not like it's the first time. I grew up in foster care all growing up because my mom cared more about cocaine than her own kids. All of my mom's kids have been incarcerated or locked up for things that either A, she has done, or B, things that never happened. Learn from the best, right? The problem is, everybody wants to use the term mentally ill improperly and immorally. And the way that it is used gets the victims killed, gets the victims victimized further. Natalie Bollinger and I both had the same problem. We were both chronically abused, and nobody would listen, and their excuse was mentally ill, mentally ill, mentally ill. But people are a lot more likely to listen to Natalie, huh? It's horrible that she went through that stuff and she was so young, but you don't give a shit about what I went through. I must have deserved that I have a penis. I deserve to get raped because I have a penis. I deserve to be molested. I have a penis. I deserve to be drugged. I have a penis. And you guys call me crazy. These folks who didn't help, they promised that they would, and they just let it happen over and over and over again. They just let it happen. Pretended like they were my friend, pretended like they cared, told me they loved me, and you get to see the same thing out of all of them, proving that they don't. The most recent one is a woman named Caitlin, and just like everybody else who pretended to be my friend, she hasn't taken the time to hear my side. But she's friends with many of my predators. Why wouldn't she be? She's into the drug life. She's been an addict as long as I've known her. And now she wants to do the same thing as many other addicts that were shown to not be sober. She wants to pretend like she's sober. Oh, I'm sober. I'm surprised she isn't throwing in Jesus' name at me. She doesn't want to find out about any of the abuse that I continue to go through or do anything to stop it. She doesn't even want to hear it. She just wants to give me advice and pass judgment. So I hope she was smart enough to unfriend me at least. Don't pretend to be my friend and don't tell me that you love me when you show me that you don't. When you pass judgment upon me. When you tell me to let this Natalie thing go, it's not just Natalie. But she doesn't want to hear that. She's not going to take the time to hear that. She's not going to bother with it. She's still friends with many of my predators, many people who wronged me intentionally. Of course, they're the ones that have the drugs. They're the ones that are in the local vicinity. She doesn't care about me. She cares about her drugs. She cares about her image, what people will think of her. You tell me that I shouldn't care what people think of me. Oh, that's fine and dandy until they're fucking swinging at you. Or until they're pushing bogus charges on you. Or threatening to kill your fucking loved ones. Or being vultures around your fucking house. Wasn't even my house. I had to stay with an alcoholic named Dallas Richmond. And he's always telling me about people harassing him. People harassing him. People harassing him. You know what? I don't make them harass you. I don't make them do it. Are you helping me at all, Dallas? Are you looking at the evidence? Did any of these people look at the evidence? No, they wanted to be judgmental assholes before ever even looking at shit. You goddamn right I speak out. This is not how human beings should be treated. I've been victimized my entire life because anybody can call me mentally ill and get away with it at any point in time. It needs to be abolished. Through all of this, I had to deal with people preying on the mentally ill tag. All of these people preyed on the mentally ill tag to get away with the crimes that they committed. But they are crimes because if someone is mentally ill, then they are disabled. If they are disabled, then they have rights. But those rights aren't observed unless you care. You people are cruel. You're evil. You're horrible. Your excuses fucking suck. And we got people like that who make it worse for all of us. People like Dean who are used as an excuse to do these horrible things to all of us. It's not our fault that they keep dumping Dean out on the streets with no support and stealing all of his shit. What the cops did here is immoral and illegal. But you just simply don't give a shit. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper. No victim left behind.